Hello and welcome to our channel Bharat Ke Research. Today we are going to give you a glimpse of one of the story from the history of clinical research. We named it as The King Nebuchadnezzar Nutrition Experiment, a tale of meat, wine, wisdom in the courts of Babylon. Let's meet the great general Nebuzaradan, the one with the majestic beard and hair. He was a champion of conquest and master of siege, had conquered many land and brought back many treasures, but most importantly, in this story, the king initiated an ancient trial that later set the stage for health research. Let's know more about the story. One day, a young Jewish exile was invited to dine with the king. He was not a warrior, just a boy descendant from a priest, very humble and silent. But when the meat and wine were served on the table, he did the unthinkable. He stood up and said, "I cannot eat this. Defies my faith." The hall was silent. Soldiers were stiffened. Advisers started whispering. But the king, he leaned in and in his deep voice asked, "Your God forbids what brings pleasure and strength?" The boy looked up and answered, "Not all strength comes from indulgence. Discipline is its own feast." The word struck to the king like a blade, sharper than his sword. This wasn't a rebellion, but it was a philosophy from the boy. The king, in his deep voice, "No meat, no wine, are you mad or just ungrateful?" The priest responded in a calm voice, "Your Excellency, our law forbids it. We are only allowed to have vegetables. So, if you allow us, we can run a test. We shall prove our strength by our vegetables." Hearing the words of the young priest, the king smirked and said, very well. Wiping the grease from his beard, let the trial of the table begin. So, what was the trial of the table? The king ordered to create two groups, Group A and Group B. Group A were the royal diners, fed meat soaked in honey wine, roast oxen, fig pies, and jug of spiced shiraz. Group B, the leaf lovers, given lentils, barley cakes, cucumbers, and water. So, the trial ran for 10 days. The veg versus non veg diet. On the fifth day observation, the royal diners were showing the sign of sleepiness. One fell asleep mid poem recitation. Another mistook a cat from medical advisor or the royal advisor. However, the leaf lovers, they were alert with glowing skin, solving logical puzzles in their head. One even recited Babylonian legal codes backward. Then, on the 10th day observation, the royal diners were totally bloated, moody, and complaining of too much figs puddings. On the other hand, the leaf lovers were upright, cheerful, and having the good body structure. So, the king summoned his chief physician, Dr. Zerdush of Zigat, who examined both the groups and declared, "Meatless diet wins." So, guys, the conclusion was crystal clear. Next day, the king stood in the court and announced, "Let it be known across the Babylon. Meat and wine make it merry, but the lentils and water make it wise." And he allowed all his royal scholars to choose their diet, whether it's lamb or legumes. So, in the story, the sample size they have taken was of 10 each group, which makes us 20, and the population was captives. Duration was 10 days, and the royal conclusion is never underestimate the power of a cucumber. So that's for all. Stay tuned for more of clinical research history in a fun way.